Hey everybody, this is Peter 24/7, and I just got a little update for you regarding the new season that starts in about an hour, Sun Scorch. I just want to give you a little bit of insight into the new seasonal dragons and the discount tiers, and maybe a little strategy behind what you can do, at least from my perspective. The season structure has not changed for quite some time, and we have all grown used to how things have been paced when releasing. This season there will be 4 major release times, but today I'm only going to talk about the first 2. Today's event will start off the new season, and what will be released is the Sorcerer, the Invoker, the Rider, the Base Boost, the Mission Boost, and both Mythics. It will take 19 keys to unlock each Mythic. You will get the keys throughout each line as you complete them. On the second week, once again the Crystal Howitzer will be released, and players will be able to go through the line and get more of the resources that are needed to build that tower. There's a lot of debate across the War Dragons community regards to how you should progress your season, in what order you should get things, and what's the best way and most cost-efficient way to complete the season and get the Mythic. This season, there will be a total of 3 discount lines, so we want to make sure we are taking advantage of that and progressing as fast as we can through those as possible. Personally, I like to go for the base boost discount first because it applies to Atlas as well. I have dragons I can fly already, and I can always come back and get the dragons as I need them. All of these lines cost a lot, but you want to be very careful and take a look at the actual cost at the end of the lines. Sometimes, after about 3/4 of the way through, the sigil cost for each bonus drops significantly. So it's what I tend to do is go until it starts to drop, and then I move on to the next discount line. Since on week 1 both the dragon and the base boost will be discounted, I'm going to get most of the way through one of them, then move on to the other, and see how far I can get throughout the first 2 weeks. My ultimate goal will be to get as far through the base boost discount and the dragon discount as possible, and then start saving my sigils for the next discount, which will be released on week 6. There are only 2 weeks available for the discounts. So there will be a 4-week gap where you can save up your sigils, so you could probably even finish the warrior discount when it comes out on week 6. In between that time, after the discount period of 2 weeks is finished, you may want to get the mission boost as well, and that will help you get the eggs you need for the progressively more expensive dragons that are being released. Talking a bit about the dragons, Hahizen is one of the mythics that is being released. This is going to be a hunter, very similar to the Dragon Ha set, which everyone probably remembers from the Sapphire tier. Looking at his spell set, he's going to be a pretty good dragon. He may take a little bit of practice, but once you get used to him, he should be a very big asset to your dragon roster. He's going to have a passive ability called Adrift in Time. This increases his flight speed, and his breath attack causes towers to take increased damage. So this is similar to Pathos, where as you attack, it decreases the defense of the towers you hit. He's also going to have a white ability called Temporal Anomaly, which will cost 1 rage, And basically what happens is he will cloak, he will heal, and it will create a waypoint. This is exactly like what How Hasset had, except it is white instead of blue. During that time period, you will be cloaked and you will heal, and if you click it again, it will actually bring you back to where you first used the spell, and you will heal again. And this will last for 12 seconds, and there will be a 7-second cooldown. So this is very good for making defenders waste their super shots when defending against you. Next, there's an active blue spell which will cost 2 rage, which is called Chrono Shift. And what this does is the dragon will cloak, and it gains increased ammo generation. So you'll be able to attack faster without worrying about running out of his breath. This will last for 2.5 seconds, and it will have a 6-second cooldown. While using this, while you're cloaked, you can use Stasis, which is the equivalent to sand. We'll talk about that in a second. Or you can attack. So it's a very useful item, but you're going to have to get rid of the blue tower before you use it. Lastly, he has an ability called Stasis, which is an active white spell that costs 1 rage. It damages and disables towers in a target area until they take damage. And there's no cooldown on that, so you can spam it all you want. The other mythic that's going to be coming out this season is Lockjaw. So this is a warrior, and the spells he has is Kingdom of Scrap, which is a white spell, which will cost 1 rage. And this alternates between a shield that restores health and an explosive shield that deals high damage. So this is a spell that's a similar spell that's been very common in recent warriors. So working on your timing of when you want to have the shield and when you want to do extra damage and watching your rage bar is a very important part with that spell. Also, he has a spell called Iron Wind, which is white and costs 2 rage. This damages and freezes nearby towers. Affected towers take increased damage. So this is a blast. So as you turn corners or as you move up, you can use this spell. He also has a spell called Tyrant's Fury, which is an active blue spell that costs 1 rage. This is essentially Blood Fury, where basically you cast it and it'll regenerate your rage. So it costs 1 rage to cast it, you'll gain 2 rage, and then every tower you destroy during the spell, which is 3 seconds long, will give you health. Lastly, he has a spell called the Crusher, which is an active white spell costing 1 rage. The dragon will gain massively increased breath damage for a very short duration, and that duration is 2.5 seconds. So using that in coordination with Iron Wind is probably what you best want to do. Next on the list is Craylows, which is a sorcerer. This is a discount dragon for the season. The spells he has a spell called Speed Demon, which is an active white spell. When you cast it, you will dodge all projectiles, and it will damage all of the towers that are nearby, and you will fly at an increased speed for 3 seconds. This spell has a 5-second cooldown. He also has a spell called Take That, which is an active red spell that costs 1 rage. Now, the dragon will damage nearby towers and restore health on cast. So the second you cast it, you'll regain a portion of your health and then progressively do damage for 3 seconds. And there will be a 5-second cooldown before you can cast it again. The next spell he has is Tail Smash, which is an active white spell that costs 1 rage. This heavily damages towers in small target areas, so it'll be a little circle. You can probably hit 2, maybe 3 towers at one time if your placing is well. There will be a 3-second cooldown on this spell. The last spell that Craylows has is Sacrifice, which is an active white spell, which is 1 rage. The dragon sacrifices health and gains 2 rage points in exchange for his self-inflicted damage. So this is a spell we've seen many times in the past. There is an 8-second cooldown on this ability. The last dragon that's going to be released in week 1 is Dross, which is an invoker. His first ability is basically his 4th shot from being an invoker, which is called Gloom. The dragon's invoked attack damages towers in the target area and disables them until they take area damage. So it's kind of like his last attack is sanding an area. So we'll have to wait until we get him to see how big that area is, but it sounds like it's going to be a very useful tool. Next, he has a spell called Black Ash, which is a passive yellow ability where the Dragon's Breath attack causes towers to take massively increased damage from all sources. His next spell is Smokescreen, which is an active white spell which costs 1 rage. It cloaks the dragon and deals area damage, and there will be a 2-second duration with a 4-second cooldown. So this is a very good ability for an invoker, as they generally tend to be quite weak when they're hit. So having a spell that could help you blink is ideal, especially if you use it in coordination with his Gloom spell, his invoker ability. Lastly, Super Rejuvenate is an active blue spell, 1 rage we've seen in the past, where over a 2-second duration you will gain health. There's also an offensive Dragon Rider being released in the first week. The name is Hugo, so if you are lacking in riders and need one, it might be an idea to go for this. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there are many different opinions of how one should probably progress the lines. I honestly don't want to be breaking the bank, so I try to plan myself around the discounts and go from there. I usually end up finishing 4 or 5 lines before the end of the season, but if you plan it out, it's more than doable to get the one of the mythics before the end of the season. So some people think that it's best to save all your rubies until the super sigil chests. I honestly suggest against that. I've never really had good luck in those, so I just try to make sure I hit the final team prize in every single event. And if you're able to do that, usually the prizes you get from each event will be enough to get you what you need to get to the one of the mythics before the end of the season. And I usually open up all my chests in PvP to help fuel the energy and inner fires that I need to do well in a PvP. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Bye for now.